Hello, everybody. Welcome to Notes from Hollywood. And I am your host, Nicholas Snow. And on the show today, I have my friend, the multi-talented Leon Acord. And we're going to be speaking about his new book, Expletives Not Deleted. And, what I love about the book is that it's a series of essays, so you don't have to be overwhelmed by it. I know a lot of us don't read the way that we used to, and as pointed out in the book, some people just don't read at all. But this book is fascinating, and it's filled with essays about all of the things that you and I are talking about all of the time. And if you think books are being banned in places, and that's part of one of the topics of the book, you can imagine this one has very little chance of showing up in some public school systems. Although when I was reading the essays, I was thinking, this would be a perfect book to use in a classroom because one of these essays, each of these essays could prove as a conversation starter. This book, though, is not gloom and doom. Acord offers his take on some lighthearted topics, the reasons gay men love divas, how precocious parents are ruining their children, and why gay men should celebrate getting older. Highlights include Acord's exhaustive catalog of 20 movies made before 2000 that every gay man born after 2000 should watch, a look back at his disastrous stint as an LA theater critic, and how the late great Leslie Jordan inspired him to embrace his inner curmudgeon and find happiness. So that's what's coming up. There's also a chapter called F Facebook, and it actually says fuck Facebook, and I can say that because I'm not on broadcast television. I'll be back with Leon after this.
PromoHomo.TV is all about empowering you, our communities, and our world. For their support of PromoHomo.TV, I wish to thank my sponsors. DAP Health. I've been a grateful client of DAP Health for more than a decade. One of their value statements, we welcome all people, period. Willie's Modern Fare, 1501 Uptown Gastropub, and 849 Restaurant and Lounge. 3 restaurants, unlimited flavors. Shouting out to my media partners. Pink Media, amplifying PromoHomo.TV across the Twitterverse with their hashtag I Love Gay campaign. David Perry and Associates, a PR and marketing firm. GayDesertGuide.lgbt. And KGay 1065 Palm Springs, available worldwide. Ask your smart speaker to play KGAY. And last but not least, the PromoHomo.TV superstars who voluntarily subscribe to the free content at PromoHomo.TV for as little as $1 a month. Join them at patreon.com/PromoHomo.TV. Meet many of them at PromoHomo.TV/superstars. Now here's how you can step up to the plate. To find out how you can help me empower you, our communities, and our world, visit PromoHomo.TV/empower. Thank you.
So, Notes from Hollywood profiles people passionately pursuing professions in the entertainment industry, and Leon Acord certainly falls into that category. For my viewers, I want to remind you to go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/PromoHomo.TV network, and subscribe. That's really the best place to watch PromoHomo.TV, even though it's available all sorts of places. And you can help support this network by subscribing for as little as $1 a month. But if you subscribe for $10 a month voluntarily, you get your name in the closing credits. How cool is that? So after that public service announcement, I am very delighted to welcome to the show my good friend, Leon Acord. Welcome, Leon.
Hi, Nicholas. It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for being here. Congratulations on birthing yet another creative project.
Thank you. Thank you. It does feel like childbirth sometimes.
You know, I would just want to tell you the PR about this makes the I think the PR messaging around this sort of you miss how important this book is. I mean, it's presented as being fluffy and entertaining. It's very entertaining, but I think it's a much deeper than one would guess on the surface when they're hearing about it. So I just want to commend you for that.
Thank you.
And telling you from this consumer's point of view, you're getting a lot more than one would expect when you get your book.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Rod. Wow, I'm blushing. Thank you. It's really nice to hear.
Well, you're welcome. So I went through your book and I read several of the essays, and we don't want to, of course, give away the book, but I'd love to just talk about some of the themes in the book, that many of them are themes that I talk about on this show, in particular, Notes from Hollywood. Let's start with a biggie, the Hollywood closet.
Oh, yeah.
So you write about it, and I know you don't want to give away everything you say in the essay, but what are some of your views about the Hollywood closet?
Well, first of all, let me start by saying I certainly understand the pressure for gay actors to stay in the closet in this town because, you are kind of labeled regardless of where on the, food chain you are. But I just think show business is one of the most liberal industries, despite a few old school tendencies. It's probably the safest industry to come out. And I think as entertainers and performers, we have a responsibility to, as you mentioned earlier, to the youth. I mean, younger gay folk need to see older gay folk well adjusted, more or less, and, happy. And so it's frustrating. And, to work with closeted actors, especially when you're doing gay material, is exasperating.
Do you believe in outing?
Only in extreme, like if it's like some conservative senator getting blowjobs in an airport bathroom, something like that, absolutely. But no, I've worked with closeted actors, and I respect that. I no comment when asked about that. That's their story to tell, and I'm a big advocate of tell your own stories, don't tell other people's stories.
One of my viewers is commenting that they're having a hard time hearing you. So the solution is just move closer to the microphone.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's good.
Can you get closer? Not too close. How far back can you move?
You're good. You're good. Which leads me to another thing that you talk about, you write about in your book, is people's impression of your face through the years.
Oh. Yeah. How do you mean?
Well, like you write about in your chapter about getting older, your essay about getting older, about
the front of my face is sliding down my skull.
No, you write that you've looked 35 since high school, and now people are telling you look younger than your age.
Yeah, it's great. It's a new sensation. I'm kind of digging it. And having been a gay man in his 20s through the 80s, anytime I can add a year to my age, I'm all for it. I'm all about, seizing it and celebrating age and not kind of hiding it or being embarrassed or ashamed. And they say 60 is the new 40. I don't know. I think 60 is maybe the new 50 at best. But
so the genesis of the book, you would muse on Facebook about a variety of things, and people that follow you, many of them your friends and family, but the larger public, because you have a significant following out there, would really engage with them. And so you thought, Well, why not really polish these up and make them, even more professional and focused, and put them out as a book? And here you are. I'm sure that going into it, you probably thought it would be a simpler process than it always turns out being.
Oh, isn't that's the truth about any writing project I've ever done? And you think, oh well, 2 more drafts and I'm done. No, you're never really done. It's like any other, what they say about any other artistic project. You're never really done with it. You just, someone takes it away from you at some point, and you have no choice. Um, yeah, it's. I won't say it's harder than it looks because I really do enjoy writing, but it is work. It's I'm sorry, I forgot your question.
No, I was just, it was really more of a comment about the genesis of your book.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And
Whenever I would, it seems like my friends on Facebook really love it whenever I get really, really pissed off about something. And it just occurred to me, it's like, instead of just kind of like throwing it away, dive a little deep on some of these topics that piss me off or intrigue me. I mean, it's not all, angry diatribes, but yeah, I thought, why not? And another reason I wanted to do essays, my friend Matthew Martin, who's, God, a superstar in San Francisco. It's amazing. He would always apologize to me every time we would talk. I haven't finished your book yet, the last book. What he said that he would, read the chapters out of order each time he went to the bathroom. And I kind of thought, now that's an idea, write a book that people can read on the John. So, all the essays are, most of the essays you can read during your, a couple essays you might need to be constipated to get through to the end. But most of
oh
them
my goodness.
is short enough to get through during a average healthy visit to the bathroom.
Well, that leads to another one of your essays on technology. And it's like they have to put down their phone in order to pick up the book at the John or anywhere.
Yeah.
And as someone who's similar in age to you, I just turned 61. I think I'm a bit older than you are.
Happy birthday, 1 year.
So I do remember what it was like as a gay person to come out in a world where you didn't have social media,
Yeah.
and what it was like to walk into my first gay club and to experience the world in a way that was experience a world that was invisible in so many ways, and not available in the media. And just to be so shocked to know that it even existed.
And then once you're in it, like, how did I ever miss this? It seems, once you're in it, it seems huge, But until you're in it, it's like, you're right, it's invisible. You feel like you're the only one like you in the world. Back before social media.
Well, and now technology has changed everything. It's like there's a meme that talks about how, like, this used to have like 17 different machines to do what this does.
Oh yeah. Office desk and all the things that disappeared that are now just all in one phone.
Right, exactly. And you talk about, remember what it was like to wait 4 days to see the photo that you just took, and also how gay bars were about building community and connecting and finding a tribe. And this is kind of, go ahead.
I think the thing I miss the most from technology is that younger generations will never stumble upon a movie late night on TV by accident. You're not gonna, you can't go to a video store and look for, your favorite cult film that you can't find anywhere else. It never plays. The streaming platforms, as great as they are, I don't want to knock them. They're not gonna, they're not gonna post Liquid Sky or Puzzle of the Downfall Child or, any of these great cult films that seem now to be kind of lost.
Well, that kind of goes to media in general. It's like, I mean, I don't know if I'm ever watching there are some things that I'll watch live to avoid spoilers, and there are some things that I'll watch on demand as soon as they become available to avoid spoilers. But for the most part, I watch what I want when I want, and I'm overwhelmed by my choices. And all of the various platforms have their own methodology of sort of telling me what to watch and what to discover.
We got to the point during the lockdown that the question, "What do you want to watch tonight?" would fill me with dread because there was just so much to watch. So many friends. Oh, did you see this? Did you see that? Oh, you got to watch this. Oh, wait till you get to the end of this. It was overwhelming, and I'm still kind of, more nights than not, we end up just kind of surfing through YouTube or whatever, not really settling down for anything, unless it's a movie. We're both home in time to watch one. Yeah, I'm with you. There's just so much choice now that it's kind of overwhelming.
Well, I personally, and I talk about this publicly, I'm prone to choose isolation and loneliness over going out in the world because I suffer from social anxiety,
Mm,
which I don't experience when I'm interacting under the context of being a journalist.
yeah,
But it's really difficult for me to go out in the world and build these connections. And social media allows me to have a connection, but it's a completely different type of connection, and it's not real in so many different ways, although it is very real in others. I mean, I have loving relationships with people I only know through social media, and we really do have each other's backs. So it's kind of a double edged sword.
yeah, it really is. I've reconnected with people from like grade school, that I didn't speak to in like 40 years. In many, many ways, social media is great, especially for people, people with depression, loneliness. If it doesn't aggravate those conditions, by people like peering into other people's lives and feeling like their life isn't equal to that. But no, it is a great tool in many ways. I just wish we could find a way of reining in some of the bad aspects of social media.
Speaking of which, speaking of which, a couple of your essays sort of well, actually, a couple of many of your essays converge. There are lots of common themes.
Yeah,
And I didn't get to a particular essay that mentioned Trump, although
I can't wait.
the fuck Facebook content would certainly be on topic for that. So let's talk about sort of the downsides of social media, and how have you overcome the obstacles that they've presented to you as a creative person?
I don't think I really have. It seems the only way you can truly overcome them is by paying them so that they'll let people see your stuff. It seems like anytime you post a photo with any kind of text, or if you post anything that's a link, um, their little gremlins at Facebook go, "Oh, that sounds like an ad. That maybe they should pay for that instead of letting their friends see it for free." I don't know how to get around that. If someone figures that out, um, I'd love to know how. It's very exasperating. When we first started doing Old Dogs and New Tricks, Facebook was so much fun, and there was no, you put something on, and everyone you knew saw it, and I miss those days. Facebook was really fun for those who have only joined it recently. It used to be a blast.
Well, I would concur with you. So most of my viewers are after the fact.
Mm,
Unless, for example, I go live direct to Facebook from my device,
yeah.
as opposed to streaming into Facebook.
Mm.
And when I go live within Facebook directly to Facebook, Facebook will amplify that broadcast.
Oh, well.
But when I'm streaming into Facebook from StreamYard, which is what I'm using at this moment to also stream to Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, and PromoHomo.TV, it isn't weighted in the same way.
Yeah. Like if
So
you
it's
post a YouTube video, ain't nobody going to see it on Facebook if it's YouTube because, Facebook wants you to use Facebook for video. So,
Well, that's why I'm encouraging my viewers to watch YouTube first and to share the YouTube link to Facebook
Cool.
and then share it within everyone else. So a few people, well, probably more than a few, have read your essays and along the way, and now you're already getting reviews. I was curious if you would share with me any feedback that's come to you that you find particularly surprising or delightful or both.
It's funny you should say that. Just this morning, out of the blue, um, and he hasn't bought it yet. He just read the preview on Amazon, where you can see the first few pages. My very first boyfriend, who I mentioned in the book a couple times, Eric, and we've been friends ever since, just out of the blue sent me a message saying, "Oh my God, I was reading the first few pages and I almost spit coffee out of my nose. It's like you're sitting here bitching right in front of me," and that really made my day. I think that's the greatest compliment a nonfiction writer or an essayist can have, is that they feel like you're sitting there talking to them instead of telling them a story or relaying facts. That was really meaningful. I have a niece in Indiana who posted her copy of the book that she just got it, and it's all good, it's all good. But those two things happened this morning. Those are the most recent, and a couple great reviews on Amazon. It's Yeah, so far it's been really encouraging and very, very humbling and heartwarming. That's the funnest part of this, and another thing that I do like about social media, and it was true of the TV series and true of the books I've done. It's really about hearing from people and connecting with the people, the readers or the viewers, and just hearing their feedback, how they connected with it. Sometimes it's about how they didn't connect with it or how they disagree with you, but I think it's my favorite part of the postmodern entertainment process. You know,
Did you consider or have you considered developing this into a one person show?
it's funny you should say that. Eric actually suggested that this morning, and a couple people suggested that after Sub Celebrity came out, 3 years ago. Um, I would love to do that. Eric actually said you should do some of this as stand up. He said actually, if you read it, you can't. If you read it too earnestly, you'll miss the point. That it's fast and fun, and I that's was my intention anyway. I'm glad he got it. I hope other people do too. I don't know. It's really hard to produce solo shows. I did it once in the '90s, and I mean, it's not any harder than any other show. The hard part is, getting enough people to show up, um, to make it viable, to make it break even as a production. In traditional plays, you have a cast of 5, 8, 10 people, and they each invite their friends. So you do get it, even if it's just friends showing up, you have audiences. When it's just one person, I don't know enough people in LA to, fill a theater every night. But I don't know. Never say never.
Well, it occurs to me that the way that your book is written, you could probably come up with a lot of kind of 1 minute social media sound bites for TikTok.
Yeah, I
And
thought about that actually, doing little videos.
yes, one of my regular viewers, Lance, is watching. He loves it when I'm live, and he's been looking forward to this episode. And he's also he and his husband Gary are associate producers of my show. They are one of my more generous patrons. I also want to thank you and Lawrence for coming on board as patrons of PromoHomo.TV. I really appreciate that.
I really admire what you do in the community, so it's a pleasure to help out in whatever small way we can.
Well, thank you so much. Is now I've asked you a lot of questions about your book, but what would you like to tell me and the viewers about various chapters or the book in general?
Oh gosh, that it's fun. It's I kind of have joked with some people that it's kind of like reading a really long magazine. There are some movie review. Well, there's one movie review. Well, actually, there's a movie review, and then there's a summary of the 20 films that every gay man should see, regardless of their age, sort of tongue in cheek. Um, there's some political stuff. There's some just like real life pop culture stuff. Um, I I would hope I want to tell people that it's a fun, enjoyable read, and don't let the expletives scare you off. That
There's not a lot of them actually. You know, it's like uh, maybe I'm just so used to them they don't jump out.
yeah,
They don't jump out of the page
I
for
did have
me.
a moment a few drafts ago where I thought, oh, maybe I should go in and put in more cuss words, as we say back home, to live up to the title. But no, there's I don't know, there's a fuck every 2 or 3 pages, and
No, that's good. All right, so because we want them to go to the book to find out all 20, tell me two or three of the must-see movies for people born after 2000.
you want to hear some of them?
Yeah, just like two or three.
2 or 3.
We don't. I don't want to. I don't want to give away the whole chapter, but pick one of the ones that you think is most relevant and important.
Well, most relevant and important for me is a film called Parting Glances that came out in the mid '80s. It was really the first film to tackle AIDS. It's set in New York, and it's like a perfect time capsule. I mean, I didn't live in New York at that time. I lived in San Francisco, but it feels so real, like you're watching real people just during a 24 period in their life, and it's for younger people, it's a great history lesson, and for you know, those of us our age, it's kind of a nice nostalgic trip back.
It had an amazing soundtrack, and I believe, if I'm not misremembering, that I was at the premiere of that film at Outfest. I want to say I was there when that movie screened at Outfest.
You know, when we were doing Old Dogs, when we were getting ready for the fourth season that never got produced, I actually was chatting with Richard. Yeah, I can't pronounce his last name. He played Michael, the lead role in Parting Glances, and I was like, "Would you be okay? What if we like have you come on the show playing the character you played in Parting Glances?" And he was intrigued. But he's like, "Oh my gosh!" Since the writer director is no longer with us, he was a little unsure. He thought he would, check with the other stars of the movie, and they all seemed to be okay. It's never happened. But I was kind of intrigued with it. I really identified with this character. Um, Mommy
Well,
Dearest is on there, of course. It has to be. It's not a gay movie.
okay, so I'm gonna lose my gay card probably when I tell you this, but I have never seen The Women.
Really?
I've never seen it.
Well, it's what 1939. I had never married when Lawrence, a huge fan of MGM and Joan Crawford. It's yeah, it's a really funny movie. It's got some really wildly incorrect dialogue. There's one line I actually quote in the book about how I spread out like a swastika in bed when I sleep. But just it's line after line after line. It's so funny. Check it out if you can find it anywhere. Well, no, TCM probably has it.
I have some coworkers that are always quoting "The Devil Wears Prada,"
Oh,
and I haven't. I've what?
wrong movie. That becomes her.
Oh, and I haven't watched it. I've watched it, but I didn't watch it enough to quote it. So
No,
they're telling me that I need to watch it again. That's my assignment.
yeah,
And
that's all.
but one of the what I actually Googled famous quotes from the movie, and one of them is, "And remember, no, like remember, everybody wants to be us."
What my favorite line is, where was that piece of paper I had in my hand the other day? In that movie.
Ah,
I love that. And there are several others that Lawrence and I throw back and forth all the time.
oh, that's fun. So,
Oh, by all means, move at a glacial pace. You know how much that pleases me. That's
oh
all.
yes, exactly. So I've been talking to Leon Acord about his new book, Expletives Not Deleted, a collection of essays. By the way, that web address, it's not the end, that's the acronym for Expletives Not Deleted. And if you want to find a lot more about this fascinating man, just go to leonacord.com without the slash end. Is there anything you want to add before we conclude our conversation?
I just, I wish I had not gone to press quite when I did, because I would have loved to have written about what's going on in Florida and all these states with all the anti-LGBTQ legislation, and it's just an insane time. And so I guess my final message to your audience would be loud and be proud. This isn't the time to cancel Pride events. This is the time to just scream at Pride events and make your voice heard. And we have to show them just how fucking many there are of us, and that they're not going to legislate us away.
You know, that's totally true. It's like we've been used to particular freedoms, and we've been making accomplishments, and all of a sudden there's just such hatred and backlash, and it does come out. This is all addressed in your book. There's a really powerful chapter that you wrote about. The title is right in front of me. Just a second. I get to end the show when I want, so I'm going to give myself a chance to look at this. Oh, from Black to Worse is the chapter. And basically, you speak about, and I think this is true, that a lot of the horrible things going on in our country is the racist reaction to the election of Barack Obama, and how evil and vitriolic all of the white supremacists are, and how desperately afraid these evil bigots are of equality.
And that's exactly what all this is. They are freaking out that they're not, the straight white men are not, ruling the roost anymore, and it's freaking them out. So,
well,
it's a reason, but not an excuse.
Your book is very funny. It is laugh out loud. I laughed out loud.
Cool.
So, yes, you can say Nicholas Snow laughed out loud.
Cool.
But it also is filled with serious topics, and in the context of what's going on in our world politically, it's the seriousness of the subject matter that is front and center for me during this conversation. But I want our viewers to know that it is a very entertaining read, and I congratulate you on the book.
Thank you so much, Nicholas. It was great being here, and I really appreciate you having me on to talk about it.
It's my pleasure, and I look forward to following the success, because I know I'll see one review graphic after another with those 5 stars.
I'll try not to be too obnoxious.
No, please. I say that with love. I am the PromoHomo, for God's sake.
That's true.
All right. Thank you so much, Leon.
Thank you, Nicholas.
And to you at home, thank you for watching.
In a safe place, I got room to breathe. Been a long chase, but at last I'm free. These open woods, I knew I could find peace here. Nothing like the city where I got tired of the running, the catching up. I got hungry for the stunning high mountain tops. So I made some plans, some dreams to catch, to promised lands, to find my path, see the planet from greater heights. I have found a place out of time and space, far from city life, up on greater heights. See the blue sky, feel the wind that blows. Get the rush in, heaven only knows. I'm all alone, still lying far from lonely. On a journey, on a winding road. Got tired of the running, the catching up. I got hungry for the sunny high mountain top.